They scared to come outside. Tell them boys they better pray. Tell them boys stay out the way. Ain't nobody safe. On my mama, on my game. What's up, y'all? Ow! So, let me pull up this thing right over here, man. I think it was a fake messenger too. What's up, honest? Hey, ladies. Hey, gentlemen. I know there ain't no gentlemen's in here. Okay. So, guys, what we're gonna do this morning is we're gonna get in here and get out about this 50K. Okay. $50K? 50K? What? Who would lend Don 50 fucking K? Okay. Good morning, Stinky Ghost Ninja. What's up, Christine? Man, we had 1,248 signatures on there, man. We got Mr. Neggs. If you guys don't know Mr. Neggs, N-E-G-Z, he is he's supporting the petition. Guys, if you go over and check out Frankie Kruzek, Shanann Watts' little brother, he has a channel. They put up, more money, more problems. They put up, okay. They put up the where we at here, man? Hold on. Yes, Frankie Kruzek, he put up a video celebrating the fact that they got they have a solicitor from the UK, I guess one of the best solicitors from the UK, and Frankie and his family are now entering into the civil phase of fucking somebody up. So, shouts out to them. Why that's important to us is if you go look at Frankie's content, what he's actually trying to do is he's trying to stop the very same thing that we're trying to stop, right? The exploitation of cases against victims. And in his case, he's got some nieces there and a nephew that there's 3 children involved in that, right? You had Cece and Bella and Nico. So we have a complete dereliction of duty in regards to that. Now, thank you for that, Honest Rage. You guys, if you have not signed that petition, quit playing with me, man. Don't even come over here no more if you haven't signed that petition, right? You guys do know I have a full list of all the names. And what I have done a couple of times is I have seen a lot of the proponents for this situation talking about this old petition, but I can't find their name on it nowhere. So, all right, guys, I'm going to start out with, we're just going to get introduced to a couple of these players. You guys know, woodwork player unlocked. So we've unlocked 2 woodwork players this morning. We've unlocked Ernie Shell and we've unlocked Dusty Albritton or Albritton. Now, anyone who's not familiar with Dusty Albritton, we will get to why she's important, but I want to start out with this. Let's take this off so you can fucking see me. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. I love you too much, man. I love you too much, man, to not put up the fucking headphone warning, man. Do you understand me, man? Look, So, Dusty Albritton, I'm not going to bias you before we watch this video of Miss Dusty. So here we go. Dusty in all of her grandiosity.
He was hungry. I knew there was something wrong because I knew this cat was buried 5 days earlier and he was underground. I took him to my own.
Fuck! Dusty! Dusty. Dusty. Fuck! Let's take a look at this next one.
Now at 11, a cat fight brewing over Bart the zombie cat. The man who buried the injured feline alive now saying the organization that saved Bart's life kidnapped him and won't give him back. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Wendy Ryan.
And I'm Jameson. You'll learn the story first captivated the country, and now the decision over Bart's future appears to be heading to a local court.
Our Ryan Ray spoke to Bart's owner tonight and joins us live with his newly waged legal battle. Ryan?
Hey guys, the fight over Bart the zombie.
Fucking Bart, right now. Not Bart One, our friend from fucking Australia. Bart the fucking cat, all right? So, guys, Dusty Albritton allegedly heard a cat. Okay. Dusty allegedly knew that there was a cat that was buried and the fucking cat was trying to dig itself out of the fucking ground. It had been buried for 6 days. This lady digs the fucking cat up, brings it home, calls BBC, right? Just fucking hits the fucking lotto. Fuck! Hold on. Holy shit, I didn't even know the fucking cat had been hit by a fucking car first. Shit! We've got a petition for Bart the Miracle Cat. Oh boy, let's see what we got going on here. Suspend a fundraiser authored by Dusty Albritton. Help the medical expenses for fucking Bart the cat. Ugh! I'm going to blow this fucking vessel right here. January 23rd, 2015, a fundraiser was started on your site. The site indicated that they wish to raise funds to cover Bart's, the cat, medical expenses. The site originally stated that they believe Bart was gravely injured after being hit by a car. However, Bart was presumed dead and actually buried alive, only to reappear in traumatic shape on 1/21/15. A video that was posted under the update section shows that Bart was haphazardly treated at home for his injuries. He finally was taken to a veterinary clinic on 1/23/15. This is what the originally stated on the site and has been confirmed by the Tampa Bay Humane Society. Dusty Albritton, originator of the GoFundMe account, has since changed the dates. Bart sadly sustained a broken jaw and severe hydration. Well, fuck me, he was underground. Can I get amen? He was given a blood transfusion due to the anemia, and is still on a feeding tube. There is no doubt Bart is in need of a lot of medical care. Knowing what this cat has been through is the reason so many people have been willing to give you to this cause. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. My tummy, y'all. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. All right. Now that we have a little background on who is Dusty Albritton. Now, how long have we actually known about this $50K, guys? How long have we known about this $50,000? Well, some of you will say about 16 hours. The rest of you will say about a month. Sorry, guys. I'm in here making the donuts, man. Shit! All right, so how long have we known about this 50 grand? Well, if you ask Miss Albritton, we knew about this 50K about three and a half weeks ago. Dusty Albritton was given this information they're going to be starting up their trucks momentarily. So when they start their trucks, I'm going to pause for a minute because they got the fucking glass backs on them. Shit, Stevie! No, I have a neighbor, and we have to coincide our times. I get out here a little bit earlier before he goes to work, and we've got to deal with the exhaust, the cherry bombs on his Chevy. Oh, he didn't just put the old what's for to it, huh? Look at it. Thanks, guys. All right, so back to the 50 fucking K. This information was turned over originally by, I'm not going to use her name, guys. We've all seen the lady's name, I think, or at least we generally have an idea of who this person is. So what we know is that this information was given to Dusty Albritton about 3.5 weeks ago. Now that is what precipitated Ernie and Dusty starting to move that way towards Rogersville, right? So what we also know is that this information was not turned into the TBI. It was turned into the psychic groups on the Facebook. Now, so we have known, or at least a lot of us are acting like we've known about this 50K for only about 16 hours. Actually, the truth of the matter is we have known about this for about 3.5 weeks. So moving on. I guess I've covered number two. Number two was this originally came out a month ago or so. Dusty A, Ernie Shell, and the Adventures of Raven. Forgot to put him or her in there. The Adventures of Raven also had this information. Now we heard about it for just a few moments back a few weeks ago, but we had so many other things going on that I think that this information was overshadowed, right? So down to number three, which I've already also kind of covered, which was who knew about this. So you had the original person. Now, what the connotation, guys, what the connotation for this series of messages between Don and this troll. I mean, she trolled Don. Okay. The person that released this information trolled Don so as they could accumulate this information so they could pass it on over to a psychic, right? Now, the very distressing part about where this information originated from, where the origin of this shit came from, was from a troll online. And this person, this troll, did not turn this stuff into the TBI. This person turned it into Dusty and to Ernie. Okay, so we had a dereliction of duty right there, guys. This is what's so important about not handling tips, right? So we know that Ernie and the psychic group, along with Raven and Dusty A, they held on to this information, and they suggested to the mole that she not turn this information in. Hoo-ah. And she didn't. She turned it straight to Dusty and Ernie and Raven, right? So moving on. Anybody got any questions at this point? I know this has been... Hey, Samantha, thank you. Thank you. Support the petition. Guys, if you care about this petition, spam's a 4-letter word, right? Most generally, spamming is not what we want to get involved with, right? But what I would ask you to do is go over to Frankie's channel. And what I would like for you to do is go ahead and comment it in his comments. I've done it too. True. I don't even remember how to spell his name. Damn it. Oh, there it was. Frankie, cruise check. So this was, oh, okay, I'm sorry. This was a week ago. So you can see our petition goes along in lines with exactly what Frankie is trying to do for Shanann. I reached out to Frankie yesterday and even told him that I thought that as a community that had created a petition that was, essentially mimicking the same things that he's wanting, that we would be willing to, if his family, so his family thought it was a good idea, we would love to amend our petition and include Shanann in the three kids in that petition as well, just to put that fuel in our tank to continue to push this thing forward. So why do we think, guys? This is question 4, right? Why do we think? Actually, I'm going to take some questions. I want to see what you guys are talking about, what you're up to. Dusty bin is full of garbage. Yeah, sure is. When you start messing with animals that defy logic, I don't know why the first thing you think about in regards to a cat digging itself out of the ground like a fucking horror film, right? Why the first thing you think is it's a zombie cat, right? So the first thing you think of is that there was some sort of injury due to a percussion of the head that would have put this cat in some sort of dormant state for about 5-6 days until it decided to unearth itself. So why is this just come out and made so public, right? Because we know I've just covered that just covered the fact that this came out about 3.5 weeks ago or so. Why has this just become so public and just so blown out there? Why? Well, I want to share this with you guys. Cascade of information. Information cascade occurs when a person makes a decision based solely on the decisions of other people, while ignoring their own personal knowledge to the contrary. So, it's when you think Don is innocent due to our civil liberties, like innocence before guilt, you put out stuff like 50K to create what's called an information cascade. Okay? Recognizing and avoiding this behavior can help people make it better. So that doesn't apply to us. But an information cascade or informational cascade is a phenomenon described in behavioral economics and network theory in which a number of people make the same decision in a sequential fashion. It is similar to, but distinct from, herd behavior. Fuck. Benny, what's herd behavior? Herd behavior is the behavior of individuals in a group acting collectively without centralized direction. Fuck! Voting demonstrations, riots, general strikes, sporting events, religious gatherings, everyday decision-making, judgment, and opinion forming are all forms of human-based herd behavior. Can I get a hoo-ah? All right, so let me get a towel, man, because we're going to go to church here. So, Benny, give us an example of someone who has created a herd behavior type environment. Well, AB is a good example of that. You have a living, breathing entity like a YouTube channel, and this YouTube channel, it has, you know, not just this one, but they snatch the leash away, and these things become they have no centralized type of leadership. So these things are just very combustible, and they're just there, right? So we know about herd behavior, herd mentality. Now, what we know about cascade of information, right? So what we had a few days ago was we had the release of some very, in my opinion, fraudulent Facebook messages, right? Then we had TIR breaking down these fake abuse photos, right? Then we have, you know, the 50K, right? So we have a cascade of false information coming on the heels of the initial cascade of false Facebook messages between Grandma Candace and that fucking snake crime story obsessed Emma. Now, what is important about cascades of information is that when we're involved and we are kind of like mid-span in the cascade, is that when we are tied up and involved and wrapped up in all of these different situations that are cascading, we forget where this shit originates from, right? That's the most important part. The most important part of a cascade of information is not what is necessarily being said, because we know that cascade of information is typically regarded as sort of a negative thing, right? So when you see a cascade of information, what's important to identify is who gave birth to it. Fuck! And remember that, so that when you get done listening to all the bullshit, you can circle back to the front and say, oh, well, whoever smelt it, dealt it, right? So that's where the fuck we're at with that, right? Cascading of information, right? We have not had a cascade of relatively fucking truthful information from any YouTuber other than Cher, Mark, Cam, and myself, in my opinion. So, moving on from that. Are we all aware that Candace and Don are still out of prison or county jail today, correct? Hoo-ah! We all know they're out of jail, right? What would be some of the things keeping them out of jail? Well, let's see. Digital footprint. Now, your digital footprint. Digital footprint refers to one's unique set of traceable digital activities, actions, contributions, and communications manifested on the internet or digital devices. Digital footprints can be classified as either passive or active. Fuck. You could never outrun your footprint. Think about it, right? As you're running through the vast desert, you can run as ultimately fucking fast as you want, but you'll never outrun your fucking footprint. So, let's take a look at this real quick. Oh man, it's so hot and muggy here. Digital forensics is a branch or forensic science encompassing the recovery and investigation of material found on digital devices. Fuck! Do we not think these people have been involved from the very beginning? Oh. Okay, guys. So, knowing what we know now, right? we know a few things, right? We know a few things. What we know is that Don's house has been lifted upside down and set back down rather ungently 7 times. So in that span of 7 times, you would have imagined that something cartel related in terms of triple beam scales, baggies, you know, large increments of money with small denominations. You would see some precursory identifying characteristic that Don was in fact cartelling cocaine. Now, what we know is that each day that we've woke up during the span of all of this, Don and Candace have not been put in jail. Why? You have to ask yourself. So we are all stuck in the Magnum PI phase of forensic and crime fighting online, right? Like, we think that everything that we can see is all of it, and it's not. So every single day that the Wells wake up, they probably went to bed the night before knowing that when they wake up this next morning, they're not going to jail. Benny, what would keep these people from going to jail? Well, at this point, because there are so many things digitally that need to be ran through forensics, that these things happen quickly, right? It does not, I mean, you look in the case of the Boston bomber. In the case of the Boston bomber, they were able to comb through federally and on a state level, Homeland Security. They were able to blow through actually literally hundreds of thousands of videos and pictures, and they did it in a short amount of time, right? So when you have a real serious situation and digital forensics is needed, there isn't just one guy at the TBI that's doing digital forensics. They have a whole department that is encompassed by the science of digital forensics. We know that in 2021, you're not out there tracking down footprints. You know, like a lot of these fights, a lot of these situations go from the pickup at the locale directly to the internet in regards to in regards to the investigation entirely, right? So it would be fairly easy. I mean, come on, guys. We've all looked through a Nexus phone or a kid's phone. It is not hard. We have found people. We've seen it in our own rights, whether maybe we were on the perpetrating end of whatever happened on a phone, right? So when it happens on a phone, we've all been caught talking about something in the texts or whatever on the Facebook. You know, let's just face it, we all have for the most part, right? So that is a good example of digital forensics on a very, very, very cooked down version of it, right? We are doing digital forensics when we are searching names and we are synchronizing events and players and all of that stuff, right? That is our own brand of uncertified digital forensics, if you will. Now, what does cartel mean? Okay, what does cartel mean? So, for anybody that doesn't know, meaning of cartel. Cartel is an association of manufacturers or suppliers with the purpose of maintaining prices at a high level and restricting competition. Now, Southwestern Bell was a cartel, right? Ford could be considered a cartel. Cartel does not mean someone that sells drugs and kidnaps little kids. Cartels are members. Members make up a cartel in the hunt for a monopoly. Okay? Now, we can look at Japan and China. Anyone who manufactures goods for American for American imports to keep the price high and the demand high, right? That is a cartel. Now, what we know what we know, OPEC is a cartel, right? OPEC controls the price of the barrel of crude oil. Okay, OPEC is it's the Oleum Petroleum Commission that chart. It decides what the U.S. price per barrel is, or our market price per barrel. So now that we have an understanding of what cartel actually is, you don't have to be jumped in or tattooed in, or you don't have to necessarily, commit a felony to be a part of an organization that is regarded as a cartel. Right now, your ordinary street gangs could be considered cartels because what they want to do is eliminate any competition, but maintaining a market that has a high demand and a high price, right? Now, what you're not seeing is any particular talk about the integrity or the quality of a said product that a cartel would in fact manage. Now, one thing that we know about cartels historically is this. Cartels, they have a history. Some of them have a history of taking responsibility for a particular crime, right? We see that in a lot of stuff down south. They'll leave signatures, they'll even leave signs, posters. They will in fact, sometimes mutilate the bodies of the people they leave behind. They will carve their signature into them, so on and so forth. So So we do know this, right? The Zetas. This is just this is just something to back up what I'm saying, guys. The Zetas and other Mexican cartels, they reportedly claim responsibility for the shooting at the Blue Parrot nightclub on Monday, January 16th, that killed 3 foreigners and 2 Mexicans during a BPM festival in Playa de Carmen, Mexico. Now, this is not an isolated event here. They will claim responsibility, guys, for all kinds of stuff. Look down through here. We do see a feature of the cartels where it is such a vast organization and they don't want to all the time or even any time necessarily do crimes that someone else will get the credit for, right? We see that in some of the serial killers of the past. They like to try to incite the public with terror. They like to play around with the police. They have a real fever for claiming responsibility. BTK, he claimed responsibility. Now, I know that's not a cartel, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to identify that that groups of suspects, like an organized crime situation, sometimes will claim responsibility. Now, we have not had that publicly that we know of, right? So probably a chip. Whoa, guys. So not necessarily sweet dreams. No, they would not necessarily have to turn her in to get the reward money. Now the cartel don't go back and forth a whole lot, right? They're not like a car dealership, where they're going to sit there and play games with you and say, oh, well, you want 20? Well, I got 17.5, 18.2, 19.1, sold. Like that's not, it's, and I'm not making fun of you at all. All I'm saying is that we don't have that scenario. You aren't going to go back and forth. You know what you owe the cartel. They don't need to remind you. They will remind you, and then they'll come and get what they want, right? So the cartel doesn't move backwards. They keep moving ahead, right? So if the cartel was involved, that would, in my opinion, be the worst possible case scenario. Now, what we know is that this shit popped up a month ago, guys. 3 weeks, a month ago, this popped up on Facebook. And after this scenario popped up yesterday, I recalled hearing about it. It was like, I do remember now some cartel talk in the beginning. But you want to know what? It was dismissed so early on in the beginning that it never gained any traction. It never gained even a day of traction. We heard about it and then it went away. So now we have this regurgitation of something that we're projecting, right? We're projecting this like we want. I see tons of people projecting this like this has to be the answer. It has to be. Nothing else makes any sense. This makes perfect sense, right? So what we realized in the very beginning 3.5 weeks ago, that this was not a true scenario. Now, when I told you before that when this thing first popped out, it wasn't reported. And it was not, because Dusty, Raven, and Ernie, they vacuumed this, right? Now, there was someone else that grabbed a hold of it about a week, 5 days or a week after Ernie, Raven, and Dusty did their thing. They reported this to the TBI. It's been reported, right? It was reported about 2.5 weeks ago. So we've had 2.5 weeks that you guys have not known about this situation. And they've worked it forensically, digitally, right? Nothing came of this situation, right? Now we have a new flux of cascading false information, starting with that snake Emma on Crime Stories Obsessed. She created these false, this false agenda with these fake book shits, right? So what's also important to know is that the key players, there is a cartel online, and it consists of, AB, Doug it, no thanks. You've got Crime Stories Obsessed Emma. This team of losers are always the one that cascades the fake information in the past 3 cases now. It's the same crew of people. See, every time there's a new situation and us as creators, we move into it. You want to know what happens? There's always a new group of people that revolve around this new situation. I'm not looking at the same faces from 2 cases ago. I've seen 3 different caseloads full of people, right? Now, these people have they have destroyed this case. Especially no thanks, right? This fucking guy. Let me show you the kind of shit this loser puts up. This piece of fucking dog shit. No, Doug, it's not for real, you fucking dumbass. If you put the fucking vodka bottle down, you'll remember 3 weeks ago this already came up. You fucking dumb truck.
Gone in 145 seconds.
Gone in 145 seconds. Like, just the sound of his voice makes me want to just fucking slap him with a closed hand right on his ear. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the shit that this guy's putting out. Like, what the fuck does any of this shit have to do with helping Summer? You fucking idiot, you. All right, let's look at some of this shit. Oh, see, there's the team right there. Look at this fucking loser. He can't help but post me. You fucking loser, you. So, here's the latest from the world's greatest advo crap. The fuck is that? Is that a play on advocate? You loser. I think he needs his remaining teeth kicked down his stomach. I still think that. So, let us come to the chat. Now, when you say cartel, do we suppose that Mexican gentlemen that speak very little English run on to the fucking scene in Hawkins County and start just distributing all the narcotics they can get their hands on and just pump them full and don't have any contacts or anyone to sell the shit to? So what the cartel will do usually is they will come into an area and they will make contact typically with the prostitutes of the area, right? The cartel likes to use women to send their messages, run their drugs, collect their money, right? Now, they have a whole different situation of enforcers, right? You don't want to pay the woman or you do something crazy to the woman and you fuck up a little piece of that money. Now you got to see somebody that probably doesn't speak English, right? And that's just the way it is. So what you have is you have a relationship that's forged when the cartel come into an area. Now, typically in America, the cartel, they will disguise themselves and move in with the migrant workers. When the migrant workers move in, yes, no more SA talk, guys. Cartels are primarily full of all ethnicities. That is a fact. So when the cartel moves into Hawkins County or in that area, man, there aren't the prostitutes that just walk the street there, right? So that mode, that means of trafficking isn't available. So what do? They have other means of reaching out to the people in that area that hold the weight, right? We're not talking about quarter grams, half grams. We're talking about quarter keys, half keys, whole things, right? So what you need to know is that the cartel didn't just come into Hawkins County and give a kick to the person that was selling cocaine there before. They give them an opportunity, and this is what they say, is they say, get down with the clique or get found in a ditch, right? So you're either going to get down, you're going to either sell the dope that they give you to sell, or you're not going to be selling dope no more. That's just the way it works. Them cartel boys, man, they're not playing around, right? Now, you start to ask yourself, let me say this. We do know that the behaviors and the criminality, the suspectology for things that the cartel does in Mexico are way different than the stuff they do here, right? Here, they have to operate as if there's no impunity, right? In Mexico, however, they will commit the most atrocious atrocities because they have a real judicial and prosecutorial corruption there, a real life one, right? Here, we don't play that shit, right? Here, cartels are looked at as domestic terrorists or they're terrorists. Now, I'm almost done here, guys. That's going to pretty much wrap up the critical thinking part of the cartel situation. Another thing that I want to show you guys. Got to keep your eyes open out here, guys, okay? Got to keep your eyes open out here, and I'll show you why. So, a few days ago, 3 days ago, actually, we had a shooting, we had a killing in the Plano Police Department, which is about a mile from my house, okay? We had a gentleman that had killed a Lyft driver about 10 minutes away, killed her, took her car, and then drove it to the Plano Police Department, where he then subsequently got out of the car, walked into the Plano Police Department, and got himself killed. He opened fire on an unarmed civil servant, and he subsequently got his ass filled with lead. Now, what's interesting about this individual and why I tell you we must keep our heads on a swivel, guys. This is why. About 0.8 of a mile from my house, this happened.
Family, Ms. Lewis.
The man authorities say may have been inspired by foreign terrorists to commit a series of crimes here in North Texas on Sunday had been previously the subject of an FBI investigation. Our Caroline Vandergrift looking today into the suspect's background and what may have driven him to violence.
The family of Isabella Lewis says the 26-year-old was a wonder.
R.I.P. her. She looks like, she just looks like a fun, beautiful woman, right? Like, she looks like she was a lot of fun, man. R.I.P. her.
Daughter, sister, and friend who was taken too soon.
This is all so tragic.
Police say Lewis was the Lyft driver who happened to pick up Imran Ali Rashid for a ride he requested in Garland on Sunday. Rashid is accused of shooting and killing her before heading to Plano Police Headquarters and opening fire inside the lobby. A responding officer then shot Rashid multiple times, and he later died at the hospital.
Yes, he did.
Family has a lot of questions. They would like to know more. They're just devastated by this. They're devastated for the family of Ms. Lewis.
The FBI is now working to determine if the crimes were acts of terror after police found a note Rashid left in Lewis's car indicating that may have been his motivation. The Rashid family's attorney says the 32-year-old suffered from multiple sclerosis and may have been
That ain't no fucking good reason. I got an Arnold Chiari, and I'm not out here shooting up nobody in the name of nothing else, fucking loser.
depressed after being recently laid off, but his family had no reason to suspect he was capable of such violence.
None of it makes any sense. Been no indications, no flags.
Rashid was the subject of a years-long counterterrorism investigation that ended in 2013, when authorities determined he wasn't a threat at that time.
At the end of the day, once again,
Oh boy, try to tell me the FBI ain't wrong ever. They thought he was not a threat, so they stopped their counter-terrorist surveillance.
Scope of oversight is so significant that there's no way the FBI could have predicted this particular individual committing that type of a crime.
Rashid doesn't.
Yeah, no fucking way, because a lot of the other terrorism, like those people don't pop up on the internet first or in, they don't pop up in the crosshairs of the FBI, right? They just come out and start committing offenses, right?
Appear to have any type of criminal record in Texas, and the Plano police chief says they have no idea why he came here to confront officers. The station is still blocked off by crime scene tape and the lobby closed. In Plano, I'm Caroline Vandergrift.
Shouts out to them good old Plano, Texas boys. Killed us a fucking terrorist. That's what we do here in Plano. This is the same Plano Chris wants all you guys to call the police. So as you can see, Chris M., our police are tied up with real fucking business. We're killing terrorists out here, sir. We ain't playing around with the bullshit you got going, sir. Remember, guys, the absence of evidence is not what? The evidence of absence. If you're not a member, please consider being a member. I will show you really quickly what that scenario would look like. You would go over to my channel, and then you would pop into the membership. We have two memberships. We have the Gumshoes and the Elite, right? The Elite. We will be putting out some members-only content this week. I know I said last week, but as this thing just fluidly and rapidly began to change, that got called and halted back. So think about becoming a member. That's one way you can support the channel. The other way is to not skip any of the ads, guys. I appreciate all of you individually. Please stay tuned. There will be some other stuff going on today, as I'm sure there will be some other stuff going on today. Now, I wanted to show you the petition. Not that one. My petition. So, guys, this is where we're at, man. This is the real Chablis. I saw on there that we have 1,252. So we've gotten 3 more since we've been on. Take a look, guys. It's still happening in real time. We have accrued $247.32. That is good. Look at this here, though, guys. We're getting an awful lot of views. A lot of people looking at this thing, but they're scared to sign it. Guess what? There aren't 12,500 content creators that are passing this by. This is 12,449 regular citizens that have been indoctrinated with some bullshit by some creators somewhere, and they refuse to sign it. They'll come over here and look at it. They'll even consider they might even start texting, but then they'll remember that they're fearless leaders, shifty, shady, shisty content creators. They're actually trolling these recent supporters. And so if your name's popped up here, you'll be the object of a pretty good fucking troll. So guys, I appreciate every one of you individually. Again, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, put them intelligently in the comment box below. If you fail to do so, we will put a large Nike 11.5 size foot in your ass on the way out the door. Love all of you guys individually. Thank you and good night.